Like, there's a lot of little things that goes into being a dragon, and them being scary is shared with every other larger monster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I don't care because this feature sucks anyway.
Also true.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're continuing our series on Sorcerer subclasses. This week's is the Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer.
Yeah, it is. Draconic Sorcerer is one of the PHB options. It came out with Wild Magic, and I don't think anything misses the fantasy as much as this does for the first 13 levels. Like, it is. I'm one with dragons. My bloodline is rich in, elemental heritage and fire and wings and dragons and wind. And what you get is not that. What you get is horrifically disappointing, and I think contributes to a lot of the problems Sorcerer has, where people go, you don't do anything. You get 2 spells, and you don't do anything with those 2 spells until you start to, like, multi-classing and diving into 12 other different features to break the Font of Magic feature in half. Is that ideal? But we can dive in, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. We start with Dragon Ancestor. At first level, you choose one type of dragon as your ancestor. The damage type associated with each dragon is used for features you gain later. They are all the classics, so the chromatic and metallics. You get black, blue, brass, bronze, copper, gold, green, red, silver, white, and it comes with a bunch of different damage types associated to each one. I won't go into specifics.
Sure.
Additionally, you can read, speak, and write Draconic. Additionally, whenever you make a charisma check when interacting with dragons, your proficiency bonus is doubled if it applies to the check.
That's not really happening all that much, I wouldn't think.
Nope, probably not. The other feature you get at first level, you get the second one. It's got to be good. It's Draconic Resilience. As magic flows through your body, it causes physical traits of your dragon ancestor to emerge. At first level, your hit point maximum increases by 1, and increases by 1 whenever you get a level in this class.
Okay. Little hit point boost there.
Additionally, parts of your skin are covered in a thin sheen of dragon-like scars. When you aren't
Scales.
wearing armor... Oh, yeah, scales is very different than scars.
Yeah.
When you aren't wearing armor, your AC equals 13 plus your dex mod. So it's mage armor. You get mage armor. That's it. That's the whole subclass.
So, like, just to be clear, casting mage armor will do nothing for you.
Correct.
Okay.
Casting mage armor sets your AC to be 13 plus dex mod.
Right.
So yeah.
All right. So you got a couple extra hit points and mage armor.
That's not a feature.
No. And also you've got scales, so gross.
You just really... Imagine seeing this world of whimsy and wonder and 5 billion creatures in it. You could be kobolds, you could be goblins, you could be funny little guys, you could have a giant scary mom, but you go, ew, scales. I want to be a pasty white guy.
All right. Now, I never race into it.
My apologies.
Listen, yeah, I think that's a meaningful difference. Like,
sure.
Color of my skin, different? Okay, fine. Is it so wrong of me to not want scales?
I just think there's a lot of exciting opportunities to delve into wackier things than people. And I think that you are missing out on that fun space whenever you go, I don't want to be a bird. Be a bird. It sounds like a great time. I want wings.
Right,
I want
and like, if I was a bird, I wouldn't mind having feathers. But, like, all right, if whatever race I am, if they don't have scales, I don't want scales.
Okay. You know what? That, fair enough. I think there's some opportunity to have weird scaled Dawsian things. I think, honestly, it's the coolest element of the subclass is that you grow scales. Because I sure don't give a crap about +1 hit point or an armor equivalent to light armor. That's not a subclass. That's just things you get as part of being a fighter. Things you get as part of being a rogue. Things you get as part of being a ranger or warlock, for that matter. Right? Like, if you just said your hit dice are D8s, I'd be like, they could have just been D8s anyway, and I'd been like, yeah, sure. I don't think it's adjusting the power of this thing at all, which means you're just not starting with any meaningful features.
Yes.
Bummer. At 6, it's something to do with dragons, right? When you cast a spell that deals damage associated with your draconic ancestry, add your charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of the spell. At the same time, you can spend a sorcery point to gain resistance to that damage type for 1 hour.
All right. Let me ask you a clarifying question here.
Sure.
You add your charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. Why did they not just say you add your modifier to the damage?
Because if you were to, like, let's say you fire off a Scorching Ray. Scorching Ray is 3 damage rolls attached to 1 spell.
Yes.
They thought it would be too busted if you could stack them all on one target and multiply the charisma by 3. So instead, only one of the 3 rolls gets to add your charisma modifier to it. Okay. Fireball affects the entire roll. This is adjusting the die result, not the die total, not a die total, not a specific creature's effectiveness by 1 die total.
Okay.
So it will affect everything in a fireball if you pick fire, for example. But I believe, but it won't affect, again, like a Scorching Ray's 3 shots. It'll affect 1 of the 3 shots.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense to me now.
It's plus 3 damage sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. The specifics. I hope you picked something like. I mean, are you only casting fire damaging spells? I don't think so. Are you only casting acid damaging spells? Yeah. Certainly not. Like, imagine picking black because you like the thematics of it, right? You want to be the black dragonborn, you know, you go all in on it. You want to be like swampy and greasy. You want to have like the scars
or scales.
And then you check, and there's 4 acid damaging spells in this game.
Yeah, that's something you want to definitely look into before choosing a type.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Oh, how does twinning a spell affect this? Are you still just adding 1 instance of the damage?
Let me check.
Or the modifier?
The twin spell. When you cast spell that targets only 1 creature, you can spend a sorcery point equal to level to target a second creature within range. So it is the same spell. So you affect only 1 of the rolls when you twin off something like an Eldritch Blast, or more likely something like a Chromatic Orb. You could only add up to 1 of the Chromatic Orbs. Good clarification. This is not.
That just got even less impressive.
It's just like you sometimes do 3 to 4 to 5 extra damage on 1 thing. And up to this point, you've had 6 extra hit points. Okay. At 14th level, we finally get the feature that makes you feel like a dragon. So you've only had to pay like 3/4 of the way through this game, or longer than most games last, to get your dragon feature. You get dragon wings. So at 14th level, you gain the ability to sprout a pair of wings from your back, gaining a fly speed equal to your current speed. You can create these wings as a bonus action on your turn. You can dismiss them as a bonus action on your turn. You can't manifest your wings while you're wearing armor unless the armor is made to accommodate them, and clothing not made to accommodate your wings might be destroyed when you manifest them.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
It's fine. Definitely selling the fantasy, right? Like you tear your come
on. Yeah, I don't know that they needed all that text there. But really, I mean, I guess it's cool that you can sprout wings, but I mean, your 14th level, how long have you had access to the fly spell?
9 whole levels. Levitate, it's been 11 whole levels.
I mean, there's nothing in here that says, like, if you get if you get held or something, you're still falling out of the sky.
Yes, this doesn't include the hover trait for not dropping if you stop moving. I mean, like, this is the fantasy, at least. Yes. This is finally you're doing some dragon stuff, and the fact that you can take damage and not fall out of the sky is relevant, right? Like, that's not nothing. You can be annoying and fly around, rain fire and terror from above. I just think it's a little bit too little too late here. I think we've passed the point where I'd be interested in playing this option because I didn't get anything up to this point that I would be remotely excited about.
I don't think it would have been too powerful for this to be one of your beginning features.
Like, even just stable like you used to it, right? Like 3 times, or charisma mod per long rest, proficiency bonus per long rest, you get a minute of it or whatever, then you at least get to immediately feel like you're immediately flying around. This seems like a really great 6th level feature, honestly, because that's around when you get fly anyway, and that's when that kind of movement tends to matter most.
Yeah.
Because that's when you don't have rampant access to it. And by this point, as a full caster, you've got a dozen different ways to do this. Summon Draconic Spirit exists. So that's a spell you get at 9th level. So, like, you could just ride around on your dragon. Now you can fly alongside your dragon. I guess that's something, but... we end with Draconic Presence, because the most iconic thing about dragons is seeing them. Beginning of 18th level, you can channel the dread presence of your dragon ancestor, causing those around you to become awestruck or frightened. As an action, you can spend 5 sorcery points to draw on this power and exude an aura of awe or fear, your choice, to a distance of 60 feet. For a minute or until you lose concentration, as if you're concentrating on a spell. Each hostile creature that starts its turn makes a wisdom saving throw or is charmed if you chose awe or frightened if you chose fear until the aura ends. A creature succeeds in the saving throw is immune to it for 24 hours. So this is just Frightful Presence that you spend a bunch of sorcery points for and takes your concentration.
Yeah.
Concentration's really big ask for this.
What does the fear spell have concentration?
Yeah, but it's a 60-foot cone.
Okay.
Which I think I'm sorry. Those are somewhat unrelated thoughts. Fear, yes, I believe takes concentration. Let me double check. Yes, concentration up to a minute for fear.
Right.
The difference
But
though
again,
is
that's
only
this is 18th level.
Yeah, and this is that we're comparing to a 3rd level spell that nets total less sorcery points to use than this does, right? Like I don't have those sorcery points for my meta magic. I don't have my sorcery points for different, better features.
Right.
Not an effect I can get in a dozen other places. Like I just don't see it.
No.
Also, the only thing so far that makes me feel like a freaking dragon is the wings.
Yeah.
I could have played an Aasimar, or not an Aasimar, an Aarakocra, reflavored it, and started that game that way, right?
Sure. I mean, I get the Draconic Presence. I kind of feels, Dragon Fantasy-ish, if you're thinking about it as Draconic Presence.
What if you just said just Frightful Presence? Then it's anything spooky, right?
Yes, but it's Draconic Presence.
But the word isn't saving the flavor for me. This could say Tarrasque's presence, and I'd see, yeah, Tarrasque is probably scary to look at. This could say giant centipede that's like 3 stories tall's presence, and I'd be like, yeah, a 3-story tall centipede would be kind of scary to look at. Nothing about
but
dragon to me outside of
dragons are
calling
kind of
it
known
dragon.
for this.
If it said, if one of the features is you take a shit on the floor, and it was called Dragon Takes a Shit on the Floor, that doesn't make it a dragon-based feature.
That's because dragons are not known for taking shits on the floor.
I don't think dragons are. I think what dragons are known for is their breath weapon. I think what dragons are known for is hoarding gold. I think what dragons are known for is the vast amount of magic and whimsy that's attached to them, right? Red dragons are known for their tyranny. Blue dragons are lightning. Gold dragons are known for their love of gnomes. Like, there's a lot of little things that goes into being a dragon, and them being scary is shared with every other larger monster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I don't care because this feature sucks anyway.
Also true.
But yeah, there could have been more iconic dragon type features to go with, but I think this still counts as one of them.
Sure.
But yeah, some kind of breath weapon would have worked nicely here somewhere.
It is astounding to me that there isn't a feature that's just spend a sorcery points, get that many d6s of breath weapon.
Yeah.
Out of the PHB, I would have expected that kind of bad numbers, but the fact that you don't even get the opportunity to like get that look, what are we doing here?
Not much.
Yeah. A lot of people will play this option, and that's a shame because it doesn't get any bonus spells. It doesn't get any ways to sort of help Sorcerer's core problems. It gives you a little bit of durability, but like that little bit of durability isn't covering for the 4 known spells you have and the very limited use case you have for like other utility stuff. You don't get anything that is utility based until Dragon Wings, and like Elemental Affinity says, if you were considering taking something different, don't, because you need to be more specialized or this feature doesn't work. So like, as opposed to going, well, I'll take Scorching Ray and, an acid or lightning damaging spell so I can diversify by damage types. No, you're encouraged to say, screw diversification, pray you're not against fire elementals. And when you are against fire elementals, you go, well, I can fly. And that's what I bring to the table at 14th level, I guess.
Yeah,
I have a really hard time
Elemental
not failing
Affinity,
this thing.
I mean, you're not. I haven't looked at all the leveled lists, but I think you're gonna have trouble finding spells you want to use with this for limiting to your damage type at every level of play.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna give it a D because I think Elemental Affinity and Dragon Wings are technically features. They do something. I'm not exactly thrilled with what either of them are doing at their relative tiers, But everything else here, I'm just wildly unimpressed. Draconic feature presence isn't the worst top end feature we've ever seen. I can't believe you don't get a free use of it. 5 points to get to use your 18th
Yeah,
level
that's
feature
bizarre.
seems kind of not ideal. And they fixed that in later options. They fixed that down the road when they're like, oh, you get a free use, then you can pay points to do it again. But I wouldn't even want to because it takes an action in my concentration whenever I've got 9th level spells to screw around with. I don't want to be concentrating on a fear, this specific fear, whenever I could be concentrating on summons, when I could be concentrating on, what the giant AoE stuns and stuff. Like, there's way better things to be doing than that at that tier. I hate this option.
Yeah, D sounds about right, and a low D at that.
Yeah.
All right, that was Draconic Bloodline. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. I'm sure people have opinions on this one, so I'd love to hear them down in the comment section below. And that's about it. All right, thank you, and like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.